Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode. Normally I start these out about exactly the same. We're probably 30 episodes in, maybe 29. Pretty excited. We finally picked up our first sponsor. We get to partner with Valley Vet, which is in Marysville. We just announced that a couple of days ago. They're going to be a great partner. They've been around since the 70s. Help farmers and ranchers, have shipped over 1 million packages. We just actually spent time with Matt and the family a couple of days ago, and so couldn't be more fitting to do this. But so you probably see some of their content, over the next year. But we'll check them out.
It's fulfilling a dream, passed down generation to generation, maintaining a way of life that's overlooked by a world that simply moves too fast. It's the greatest moments of becoming a champion to the little moments that can mean even more at home. From the show ring to the backyard, count on us for everything your animals deserve, delivered fast. We work hard for you, so you can work hard for your dreams.
Anyways, Matt, I want to tell you thank you. We're a Friday afternoon. I know you're a busy guy. It's really neat. Since you moved back, I had heard you were back, and it was one of those things. I'm like, man, one of these days we got to catch up. So I finally reached out to your mom, and I said, you think Matt would come on the podcast? And she's like, oh, he's really busy for a while. Hit him up later. So I've kind of waited. But Matt, tell me about growing up. You grew up around this lifestyle. How'd you get into it?
Just grew up. 200 yards from right here. And no, I didn't even know any of this horse show stuff existed. Didn't have a clue. We always had horses around. My grandpa bought and traded horses, and then we used those horses to go catch cows for guys that couldn't get them in the fall a lot of times. And so, it was a lot of just trader, just bottom end kind of horses we rode. And so, it's pretty wild to start from the very bottom and end up where we are now. Yeah.
Did you grow up like roping and stuff like that? Did you guys have cattle when you were a kid?
No, we didn't. My uncle did, and like say my grandpa, they kind of had cattle around. We just had a few acres over here at the house, and like say we just had mostly just horses. And I'd ride a little bit in high school, and then like say we roped. Didn't really team rope or anything even until I was a junior in high school. I think is when we built the arena over there and started kind of roping a little bit that way. And so,
Did you do any competitive roping in high school, after high school?
No, like the only horse events really we did, like growing up, was the team penning, like at the county fairs around here. We did that a lot. And I guess like my junior and senior year of high school, I think I rode broncs at some of the local amateur rodeos, and then roped a little bit, but no major competitions or anything of the sort.
So how did you get into it, right? And you and I had a really long conversation the other day, because I've got a bunch of questions that people are just interested in, because I think a lot of people, I think you made the comment, a lot of people don't understand a whole lot about this, and what you do. How'd you get into training? How'd you get into that particular piece, and when was that?
So like my first introduction would have been in college. Actually, I seen an ad in Western Horseman for Lamar Community College. And so we went by there one summer and checked out the school, and I was like, well, I guess, I wasn't planning on going to school for anything, but I thought, well, that's all right. You can go ride horses and figure it out. So so I ended up going there for 2 years, and then they send you on an internship your last semester. And I went to a cutting horse trainer, is where they sent me to, in Fort Morgan, Colorado. Lloyd Koch was that guy's name, and he's multi-million-dollar winner and stuff like that. So I showed up there, and they cut me a string of like 27 colts to start that winter, and away we went.
When did you actually start, getting into competition?
So it'd have been 2009, 2011. I was kind of working for Haythorns up in Nebraska, kind of cowboying for them, and would go to some ranch horse stuff, just some little competitions, just the horses that we cowboyed on, just trying to just go play and have fun. And it just kind of transformed. I ended up, like when I worked for them, I went to the snaffle bit futurity in Reno and ended up buying a 2-year-old 1 year there. And then it ended up being, his name was SDP Blue Blood. And it was the first horse I'd really ever shown. And I won a pile on him that next year and won the AQHA World Show on that horse twice. And so, like, that horse is pretty well the reason we're here, actually. I mean, if it wasn't for that horse, I wouldn't be where I am today.
When did you start going out on your own? And is that something that just came out of, you'd got a horse and you started to see some success in that particular world? And did people reach out to you and say, hey, we want you to start training horses? Or how did you start your business, which is what we're here to talk about?
Yeah, so I kind of, like, the horse show part of it came later, but like when I was working for Lloyd Koch on my internship, I ended up staying out in that part of the world. And working for a guy that ran a bunch of yearlings in the summertime, and then in the winter I'd start colts for a bunch of random people, and so I'd start close to 100 colts every year. And so that was kind of the first part of kind of being out on my own. But then, like I say, when I left there, and then I went to California for a while and rode some horses out there for some people, just kind of on my own and this and that, and then went to Haythorns and cowboyed there for 4 years, and kind of they started letting me go show, and then I left there and went to Wagon Hound Land and Livestock up in Wyoming, Douglas, Wyoming, and that was really the first good horse, or like show horse quality horses I had gotten to ride. And so yeah, I'd kind of cowboy for them part-time and then kind of train and go down the road. Those guys let me go horse show a bunch, and just kind of met the right people and the right horses along the way, and kind of here we are. Yeah.
That's neat though. And I think it's, that's how a lot of people's careers evolve, and you probably never thought you'd be where you're at today. But, for those people watching, most people, that aren't in the industry, probably Yellowstone, the show, realistically is somewhat of an intro into what this actually is. You'd see clips of them riding and sliding and all that kind of stuff. Is this industry always been what it is today in terms of, there's some serious money in this particular industry. Was it always that way? Did it start, did it just boom in the last couple decades?
Yeah, it's actually since we started doing it. I think I showed my first snaffle bidder in 2011 or something like that. Since then, it's probably doubled in size almost, I bet.
Wow.
It's amazing, because we went from 150, maybe 200 horses at the futurity to the other day there was 400 in
really?
the class. Yep, for 3-year-olds. So, yeah, it's gone. And I'd like to say, I don't know if it's Yellowstone or what it is what's made it such a popular deal, and the sponsors have been good. And like I say, the prize money is, it's crazy what we can run after.
Tell us about a particular event. Like, is that something that's a couple day event? Is it a couple week event? Does it depend on the event? Tell us a little bit about the length of the event, and then what that looks like from your perspective. What do you bring for horses? How many times do you compete? Stuff like that.
Yep. So, like, we just got home a month ago, probably. In October there, we were at the Snaffle Bit Futurity, which is for 3-year-olds mostly. And so, yeah, it's all our horses we've been riding for a year and a half, I bet. And so we ride them at home, train them, get ready to go to the Snaffle Bit, and we're there for 3.5 weeks. I think it was 18 days of showing or something like that. And I think I showed something every single day except 1 or 2 days. So you have to do all 3 events. We got to do the reining, which is the circles and the slides and the spins. And then we have to do the cutting, which is get one out of the herd, hold it. And then the fence work, or the cow work, where you work the single cow down the fence, turn it both ways and circle. So you do all 3 events. And then they bring back the top 30 to have a finals, and you have to do all 3 events again. And then the highest score out of that top 30 is who they ends up being the winner. So,
but you said it starts with a couple hundred and has to get cut down to 30. And
yeah, we started with 400, and then it cut down to 30. So yeah, just to make the finals is quite the deal.
Is it like golf? Like golf, you get paid out like. If you make the cut, I think you get paid something. You might only break, yeah.
Yep. So if you make the finals, you're getting paid.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So and same thing, it might just be the entry fee and a little extra. Because I can't remember. I think first paid $200,000, and then it dropped off. It drops off after that. 180, whatever, yeah.
And it was really interesting to me when I showed up and started asking probably a lot of dumb questions. So I appreciate you putting up with me. But I always had the impression, because I've followed you over the years and seen, I know your parents and your family really well. I always had the assumption that those were your horses.
Yep. Nope.
So talk about that as to like how you select horses. You have a ton of horses here behind us, obviously, but how do you go about selecting horses, and whose horses are they?
Yep. So yeah, everything we show for the most part, or 90%, are other clients. And so yeah, they send them this time of year, which is November right now, and we'll go through. I think this week I started 11 coming 2-year-olds already, and I think there's 6 more coming. So I'll start a pile of colts here the next 30 days, 60 days. And then by the 1st of January, I want to have that cut down to half at least, if not more. Pick stuff that has the talent, the ability, and kind of the mind that you want to continue to ride. So yeah, you just pick those out, and yep. And then you'll see how many of them make it through their 3-year-old year to show. I mean, mentally and physically, and then your 4-year-olds and so far. And so like we've got some 8-year-olds in there that we're still showing at the world's greatest in the bridle horse classes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's horses in the barn that has won. I mean, I think the biggest money earner is $240,000 or something like that. That's what I've won on that one gelding, who's 5.
How many horses do you take to an event? You're there for weeks, so I assume you take multiple horses.
Yeah, we'll take, on average, we'd probably take 7 or 8, just depending on where we're headed.
And how do you pick which ones? And how many of those compete? And then how do you pick which ones compete that week or that show? I guess.
Yeah, so they have different divisions. So age divisions. So like futurity means 3-year-old, which we won't start showing 3-year-olds until August usually. So like before that, we'll show the Derby horses, it's called, which is the 4 and 5-year-olds. And then we have a 2-rein class, which is for majority the 6-year-olds. And then the bridle class is for the 7 and up. So, I mean, if you've got them, if they're healthy and ready to go, that's kind of what determines on which ones all get to go. So like say, we'll take 8 head, but we might have 4 Derby horses because it'll have the most money added in it. And then we might have 1 or 2 bridle horses and a 2-rein horse. And so you just kind of see what you got going and what's firing at the time. And
that's wild, though. And it was really interesting to me. You had said, clients, whether they're in Texas or wherever they're at, bring horses up here. And those horses might be here for years.
Yeah.
And you train them every day. And talk about what do you do every day, obviously when you're not competing, but just like on a day like today, what's a normal day look like for you?
So like this morning, you get up, I get about 5:30. I'm into the barn by 6. I feed everything myself. My help gets here about 6:15, 6:30. We clean stalls together, both of us. And then about 7 or so, Dad shows up and brings us breakfast, and and then he'll kind of help finish up chores. And by 7:30, I'm usually horseback. And so like this morning, I worked all my coming 3-year-olds. There's 6 of those still. So, today I just reined around and worked the flag. Yesterday and the day before I cut on them on live cattle. And so you get through those, and then that was done at about 11. And then I rode 10 of them 2-year-olds broncs that had only been saddled. Today was the 5th saddling, I think, on them. And then exercised a couple older horses before you got here, and they're still exercising horses, I think, outside right now, and the horseshoers here shoeing. And so, yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week. Like, there's been horses showing up and leaving. There's a guy showed up here yesterday morning at 6 a.m. with 4 more. Yeah, I think he brought 4 more to start next week from New Mexico. Yeah,
it's a business. I think a lot of people. Yep. I think a lot of people think you just go and ride horses somewhere.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's a business. So like the simplest way to explain it is, they send these horses here, and our job is to go win as much money as we can on them. And so that makes their offspring worth more. It makes their mothers produce records look better. And so yeah, it's all kind of just a numbers game.
do you, like the people that drop the horse off, do you know them all really well, or have some of those you've never probably met?
Yeah, so like last weekend, a guy from Wichita dropped 2 off that I'd only talked to on the phone maybe once or twice. The guy from New Mexico, we've been riding those horses for 4 years or something like that for them people. So yeah, he just shows up, stays in the house with us, and yeah, just kind of family, but then we've got some clients that they've never even been here. I mean, we've had horses for certain clients for 5 or 6 years that have never been to our place. We pick the horses up in October, and first time they see them is in a year and a half later when we show them. And like I say, they just trust us with them, and we treat them like they're our own. I mean, if they need vets, we'd go to the best vets we can get, and the horseshoers travel a long ways to come here to do them. And so, yeah, it's all, yeah, and then they're treated kind of like professional athletes. I mean, everything has a routine and a schedule. And
I've definitely seen that. And what's crazy is you'll get them out and you'll exercise them, and then they go back into a very nice barn. And then they get showered and washed up every day.
Yep, every day.
Just...
They're spick and span, and they stay slick all winter long. They're under lights that are on timer, so they think it's summertime, and they've got blankets on, and the barn stays 55 degrees all winter inside. And so, yeah, they come out here and get worked around, and as soon as they're cooled off enough, they're back to the stall barn they go and get cleaned back up and ready for tomorrow.
Valley Vet Supply. We ship fast, so you can go faster.
So if a horse comes here and it does incredibly well here in this environment, and you take it to a show and it just doesn't perform, which I'm sure happens, is that something that you just go, hey, like this horse isn't cut out for this particular thing? If that's the case, do they go on to a different sport like team roping or something like that?
Yep. So like we'll take them, we'll start hauling those 3-year-olds like in April or May. We'll go to some little stuff. If we're going to another show to show some older horses, we might take a few of them 3-year-olds with us to ride around and season them a little bit. So they start getting used to the sights, and then okay, this horse, we need to do this with it when we go to town, or it needs, kind of find out a schedule for it. And then, like, sometimes you'll ride him, and, like, I had one I showed at Fort Worth the other day. He was okay down there, but he just didn't crave to go do it, And so, yeah, I called a buddy that team ropes really good and shows him a lot in the roping. And so I called him and said, hey, I got one that'll fit you. And he's like, all right, I'll take him. And so he drives all the way out here from Colorado and he doesn't even want videos. He's just like, no, I bought enough of them from you. I know it'll fit. And so they just come get them, and yeah, they'll go on to hopefully win a pile. Doing that. And like I've had some where I might have won on them a little bit, and I'm like, nah, it's just not going to be quite enough horse. And so you sell them to the big PRCA guys, and they'll show them in some stuff, and hell, they'll win 150,000 on them in the roping.
It's wild. It's such an industry. I think you and I talked about. I was at an event one time, and team rope, and I was just blown away at the amount of money. Honestly, just in the industry, right? Mm-hmm. There's so much money that people probably don't think about. And again, I think a lot of people probably, ever since Yellowstone and some of those shows came out, probably are much more exposed to it than they were in the past. I did have somebody ask and want your explanation of, like Yellowstone, you'd see them run and slide. Mm-hmm. What is that, and how is that scored? Because a lot of people think it's based on the length of the slide, which is not the case.
Nope, it's not the case. So it starts from the rundown, which is the straight line going to stop, how comfortable that horse looks, how much speed you have, and then when that horse goes into that stop, how physical that horse stops and how pretty. And then in their front end, like, is their front end bouncing or is it just pedaling free? And so, like, say, it's just like the reining deal is just how pretty a picture can you make it look? Like, does it look like something, hey, that looks like that'd be fun to sit in that saddle right there and go around.
Well, I've only got a couple more questions. Like I said, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. I know you guys have plenty of other stuff, and it's a Friday afternoon, and which is why we're drinking some beers. And neither one of us are sponsored by Modelo, but would probably not turn it down. But you've been doing this a long time. You're in a very, what I would call elite class, being what it is, a $1 Million Rider. I don't know what I can't. I saw it, but how cool is that to think, especially since in high school, you said you rode on some lower class horses. Did you ever think you'd be where you're at?
No, it was never really even a thought that you could go. I mean, and hell, I was told that growing up, like, say, you can't make a living riding horses. I mean, what the heck? And I mean, that's kind of like most people kind of say that. I mean, it's a tough way to make a living, and I mean, a lot of hours. But yeah, it's pretty wild to be able to come back to Nemaha County and have this kind of facility and the caliber of people we have pull through here between, I mean, vets and horseshoers, and I mean, and it's out of the way for all them guys to come. And I mean,
sure.
Heck, like our vet travels 8 hours, a horseshoer travels 7.5 hours, and just because they're part of the team. And yeah, it's like, say, it's just a business for us all. You just keep it all going.
Yeah, it was really cool. We did a brand piece that we'll start to see some of that content probably in the next couple of months for Valley Vet, and your wife was kind enough to put up with us, and we got to meet your boy. How cool is it for them? When I showed up tonight, all three of you were riding around, and how cool is that to enjoy that with family too? Every day.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Like Oliver, I mean, our son, he knows what every horse in the barn gets for grain and supplements, and I mean, knows where every horse goes. And like I say, he's got his string of horses he rides, the one horse he's in charge of taking care of every day and exercising it, getting it out. I mean, and that horse, like, shoot, I've won almost 90,000 on that horse too. Like, I'd take him at any time and go show him in the open, and then you get him home and you hand him back to the 7-year-old and he goes piddles around on him. Yeah.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's awesome on a horse, and he's the nicest kid in the world. He came up and talked to me today about being out of school for the weekend. But what's the next decade look like for you? How long are you going to continue to do the actual showing piece? And then when that time comes to an end, is training something that you'll still continue to do?
I would imagine. I mean, there's guys in their 60s and 70s still going at it and showing and stuff like that. I mean, knock on wood, I'm pretty dang sound. Like, for all the stuff I do every single day, I get up in the morning and I might be a little stiff, but like everything still functions and goes. And but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wish I could slow down and not have to travel as much. But we've paid our dues this much to get where we are, and
sure.
I mean, we're kind of in the mix of it, so might as well keep going. And I mean, hell, there's 30 some head of horses, I think, here to get rode every day now, and so I guess we'll just keep our heads down and see what happens.
Of all the stuff you've won, like I said, you've done incredibly well and very accomplished in this space. What's the one that stands out? Is there an event that stands out that you were like, man, that was the one?
No, I mean, not necessarily. Like, anytime you can make a finals and, like, for me, end up in that top 10 or that top 5, I mean, nowadays is an accomplishment. I mean, I think, like, some of the big titles I won in the beginning, like, I've won the AQHA World 4 times. I was so still new to it, I guess. And so I don't think I really realized how important some of that stuff actually was. But like say, I mean, like the last 2 years I've got to show at the American, which was in front of crowds of thousands, and big lights. And I mean, it was pretty wild, especially this year in the Dickies. And last year was in Globe Life Field. And I mean, so getting to show at those sort of deals, and the Run for the Million out at Vegas that Taylor Sheridan puts on. I mean, the crowds there are cool because it'll be sold out, and you'll be walking around like you go eat or something, and just random people stop you and say, hey, that was sure fun to watch you guys show. And I mean, just how much it makes a difference, or like people notice it and enjoy it.
That's got to be a pretty neat feeling. A lot of people probably don't get to experience. Lastly, like I said, from coming up and never thinking that this was achievable, what would you tell somebody that's that's a young person that, whether it be in this particular space or anything, to go after and chase a dream, because you never know where it could end up at.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just never know. I mean, the number one thing, like I tell every young person that's either come and worked for me or just wants to know what the number one deal is, that's at work. I mean, you got to work hard. You got to outwork everybody. I mean, to make yourself noticed. I mean, whether it's sweeping the barn, cleaning the stall, whatever. I mean, don't be the weakest link.
Well, I think that's a perfect way to end it. Like I said, thank you so much for taking the time. And for everybody watching, thank you so much for watching. We're going to have a lot more episodes, and make sure to tune in. Lastly, you guys have publicized, actually where people could watch it, right? Like, where's the best way to watch an event?
Yeah.
For people that don't know anything about the space.
So NRCHA.com, you can pull up kind of the events that we're at, and there'll be live streaming and all that. And so, you can watch it all live. And
well, I look forward to it, man. Thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you for watching.